All right, welcome back to yet another episode of the Caffeine Octane Podcast. This show is brought to you by Ride Lounge, Atlanta's fastest growing vehicle storage and social club located in Peachtree Corners, with two more on the way due to open later this year, both in Milton and in Midtown Atlanta. So super exciting stuff. I'm your host, Grant Van Brewer. I've personally been attending Caffeine Octane for over 12 years now. And if you've been coming out for a while, there's a good chance you've seen me pull up in a McLaren, a Lamborghini, a Rolls Royce, a Porsche, or an Aston Martin over the years. And that's not by accident. I had the privilege of working with these brands for quite some time. And that community has been a part of my life throughout all of it. Speaking of Caffeine Octane, it's America's largest monthly car show, held the first Sunday of every month at Town Center at Cobb in Kennesaw, Georgia. And head over to caffeineandoctane.com to learn everything about the show and pick up the official Caffeine and Octane merch while you're there. Today's guest was brought to us by the Caffeine and Octane community, and once I heard her story, I knew she belonged on this show. She's had a slew of different cars over the years, 300ZX that she's built to handle 800 horsepower, a one of 240 Z34 Proto Spec, a Supra she raced at Lanier, and a freshly purchased MR2 with a story behind it. Please welcome Deanne.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for joining. So who is Deanne? How do you describe yourself as a car person?
Goodness. So, Supra Mom.
Okay.
That's my nickname because I'm one of the older ones in the community with some of the people that I hang out with. So I'm kind of like mom in a lot of ways. I was mom at the track. I always had the Band-Aids or the Gatorades or
that's
that
cool.
kind of thing. But my story goes so far back to when I was just big enough to wash the BBS wheels on my dad's Mercedes.
Oh, there you go.
Mercedes enthusiast. So that's what you did on Saturday. You washed the car for church on Sunday.
That's cool.
And so after church, we would walk the car lots.
That's
and
awesome.
So my father and I never agreed on cars. He was a Mercedes Cadillac guy. I was a Toyota girl. And I'll never forget the first phone call I made about my car I wanted for my first car. And he wanted to buy me a Ford Escort. And I said, Dad, I don't want a Ford Escort. He said, well, what do you want? And I said, I want a Toyota Celica. And so I found a Celica. And he said, well, how many miles does it have on it? And I said, 74,000. He said, are you crazy? So my first car was a 1990 Toyota Celica. So that's where it started. Like, besides my dad, that's where my JDM love came in.
Oh,
so
cool.
I had 4 Celicas.
That's amazing.
And my last one was a 2005, the last year they made them.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I had to sell my MR2 that I had when I moved back here.
Mm-hmm.
I was a single mom, 27 years old, and my dad hated my MR2. And I didn't have any money. I didn't have a job. I came back to take care of my dad that had cancer.
Yeah.
And so he fussed about that car every time I saw him and told me I was going to kill myself. And it was a glorified go-kart is what he called it. So I sold it to make ends meet. And so 22 years, that was a long time ago that I sold that car.
Time, yeah.
So I did get another Celica in 2005. So that I kept going with it. And then my kids are grown now. I'm almost 50. So I had my first 300ZX in 2009. I kept it 2 years. Gave up on it. It was, oh my gosh, they're so horrible to try to keep together.
Oh, really?
And I just couldn't do it. I mean, I had 2 kids in high school. I just couldn't afford it. So I sold it. And then I went through a real bad divorce a few years ago. And I really wanted a GR86, but it was during COVID time. Yeah. And couldn't find cars.
Yeah.
So I got this wild hair one night, took my little Honda CRZ, my little hybrid CRZ.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are cool.
And I drove to a dealership in Roswell just on a whim because I saw this Supra. And I thought, you know what? If I can't have an 86, I'm going to go big or go home. Yeah. So that's what I did. So cool. I arrived at this dealership at 6:45, 7 o'clock at night, brought my Supra home. My hands were shaking, I couldn't see. The windows were tinted so dark. And here I go driving an hour and a half home. My phone's not connected. I didn't have a GPS. So I had nothing hooked up.
Oh, gosh.
Never driven a Supra in my life, and now I've got, almost 400 horsepower in my hands.
Yeah.
Had to leave my other car at the dealership, my little CRZ. So, long story short, that's how, the past few years started for me. Yeah. And then I met a lot of, I just started going to car meets. I said, you know what, what do you do at, 48, 47, 48 years old? Sure. And your kids are grown, you're living by yourself. But you got a fun car. Yeah. So you got to find other people that have fun cars. Yeah. So I started meeting people and I started showing up. Didn't know anybody, but I made so many friends. Yeah, absolutely. And that was like a turning point for me. It really was, because it didn't matter how much older I was. We all had the same passion.
That's right. Yep.
But I still had that urge for that 90s feel.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 months after I got my Supra, I started shopping again. And I was like, I'm going on a hunt for an MR2 or a 300ZX.
That's so cool, yeah.
And found my 300ZX. And I promised myself I wasn't giving up this time. 69,000 miles, I thought, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh no, that thing was driving on 5 cylinders. But anyway, so that's kind of
cool.
like the beginning. I know you got more questions, but that's...
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing
yeah.
that. And you came out today with a pretty large Z group, right?
I did.
You
the
guys
Georgia Z Club.
You brought virtually every generation of Z out.
We did.
What does it mean to be a part of that community?
Oh goodness, that's great too, because the Z community is like no other. They really are. I mean, it's just the most helpful, the kindest. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of car groups,
mm-hmm.
you know, but there's something special and very different about the Z community. And actually, they found me.
Oh yeah, how's that?
The president, Paul Lupica, found me on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
And invited me to get involved. So I went to my first meeting, you know, and drove from Habersham all the way down to Roswell. That's an hour and a half just for me to get to a meeting to have dinner, basically. But it was just so cool. I mean, you know, and there were more my age, you know, not all of them, but I'm just saying, you know, I'm probably one of the youngest ones in the Z Club.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, but they still they all have stories, and they, you know. So I've done a lot with them. I went to my first Z-Con last year. That was huge.
Yeah.
That was probably one
Pretty
of the most
amazing
incredible
experience.
things I've ever done. Yeah. My car won first place People's Choice
congrats.
C32.
Nice.
So that was a tearful moment for me.
Yeah, I bet. Especially after that journey, right? I mean, golly.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I had just finished the build. I mean, which it wasn't 100% complete, but it was close enough that I was ready to take it out and took it to Nashville.
That's great.
And so, yeah, they're great people, and we do a lot of cool things together, and it's fun to be able to share our passions. And, you know, I've seen so many people out here today we had this car, and we had that car, you know, to hear their stories, too. You know, it jogs the memory, you know what I mean, of a lot of people. So
absolutely.
I like that, too.
Keeps it going.
Absolutely.
How did you find the Caffeine and Octane community, and what does that mean to you?
That goes back to the Supra.
Okay.
Actually.
Let's hear it.
So... my first Supra friend was really into tracking the Supra, but I was scared to get my car out there on the track, you know, so I just wanted to ride. I wanted to watch, you know. So bought me a helmet, and I thought, okay, here we go.
Here goes nothing.
So I started just doing ride-alongs and stuff like that. So then found out about downforce battles at Lanier. That's the 30-minute ride for me from where I live, which was even better. You know, I didn't have to drive a long ways. And started showing up for this downforce battles and riding, you know, and I thought, how cool is this? They're like racing each other, but they're not touching each other. They're not hitting each other, you know? So I was like, I want to do this. So once I rode for like a year and watched everybody, I was like, I can do this. You know what I mean? I was a lot of times the only girl out there, and a lot of times one of the oldest ones, if not the oldest one out there. But I got out there with them, and I started having the time of my life. So it actually, to be honest with you, it cut down on my mountain rides because I got all of my fun out in a safe environment. Plus, then I started taking other girls in my car. So I had linked up with a girl from middle school, high school, and she had come out to Caffeine and Octane, to the downforce battles, and she rode with me. And she and I are, like I said, she's 50. I'm just behind her, and I'm in the kitchen one day, and she called me, and she said, "You're not going to believe what I'm doing." And I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm going to go buy a Mustang." So now she's got her own fun car.
Oh, that's cool. You inspired her.
She got out there, you know. So if I can just inspire another girl, that's, you know what I mean. Everybody has a place in this community. It doesn't matter what kind of car you have. It doesn't matter how old you are. You got a place. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, if I can do it, divorced and single. You know what I mean? And get out there and show up at a car meet with a Supra with a bunch of guys who are a ton younger than me. Yeah. And fit in and make friends. Anybody can do it.
Absolutely. And that brings up a good point. I mean, as a woman who builds and races, what does navigating this world actually look like?
Oh, gosh. So I would say in the track community, there's a lot more females in the track community than there is the show community. And I didn't build my car by myself. I knew I had a vision. But the only advantage I have with the 300ZX is I got small hands. And that engine bay, you know what I mean? If I drop something, there's a chance I'm going to be able to find something that somebody else can't fit their hand down there and get. But that was the only advantage I had because I was lost. So again, I reach out. Like I go searching for friends, and I start, actually I had a problem with my car. My car was not starting. And I posted a video, and I posted a bunch of pictures of, what I had done and, what we had done at home. And met a guy in New York. He said, I can see by your video your PTU's not plugged in all the way. Well, I work from home, so here I am. I go up the stairs in my pajamas. I didn't care how I was dressed. I left that desk and I plugged that PTU in, and I took off for a little ride around the neighborhood. And so then it was like, okay, if you do this, you got to do this, But everybody becomes a mechanic when you're a girl and you want to build something.
Yeah.
So part of that was like, are you building your dream or are you helping me build my dream? You know what I mean? Because I need one person that I can trust, one person to help me navigate this journey.
Yeah.
So that's when, like I said, my friend in New York that found my problem that day has become one of my best friends.
Oh, that's great.
And he helped me pick every single part that I put on my car.
Didn't want you to make a mistake.
Right. But
Yeah.
he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But I had all these other voices in my ears, you know what I mean? Do this,
Right.
don't do that. And I said, look, you don't understand. Like, I was crying. I mean, there were nights that car made me put my head in my hands and just lose it. So, got that car put together with him and with a mechanic that was like a needle in a haystack. So I had all these boxes. Well, the boxes aren't going to do me any good, and these parts aren't going to do me any good if I can't find somebody to help me put it together.
Right.
So that was the next search I went on, and that was excruciating. I'm in Habersham, Georgia, you know what I mean? Like, I'm up in the mountains. Everybody else is in Atlanta or another state. I almost had my car trailered to New York to my friend.
Wow.
I mean, I was that desperate.
Yeah, to get it right.
So, long story short, I found a mechanic in Cleveland, Georgia, 15 minutes from my house.
Oh, that's wonderful.
His father owned Z-Car Atlanta. So now they have their own shop, small scale. It's called McLaughlin's Automotive. It's him and his sons. And he's a Z expert. I showed up at his shop with my Honda Civic full of boxes. And I still wish to this day I could have been a fly on the wall when I left that day, because I guarantee you they looked at each other and said, what the heck just happened? Because I drop off this 300ZX and all these
ton
boxes
of parts, yeah.
and a dream.
That's awesome.
And they put it together. And I said, I got one problem. I need this done by February 15th because they're having the NOPI regionals at Lanier Raceway, and I'm going to be there. I've already paid my entry fee, so we got to be done. So that's the hardest part, is being, I know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But I built a machine that I was far from capable of doing on my own. So it's trust. Who do you trust?
Yeah.
Who do you listen to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who really has your best interest in mind? I would say is
That's
probably
a good one, yeah.
the hard thing about being a female, because you don't know what somebody's motive is. You know what I mean? When they're talking about
you get taken
your car.
advantage of, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the hardest part, is just knowing who to trust and who's really going to take you under their wing for the right reasons.
Yeah. So why the Z32? Why that generation specifically?
Oh, goodness. That was really the car I dreamed about and drooled over in high school.
Yeah.
I graduated in 94, so they came out in 90, the Z32.
That's right.
My first heartache, I got dumped for a girl that had one. To be honest with you. Yeah, she had a white one.
Oh, wow.
But I had a white Celica. Couldn't afford a Z32. And I would have never asked my father for a Z32.
Right.
He really would have died. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was barely getting by with a Celica. I sure would have never. I did ask for a Miata. He told me it was a tuna can on wheels. So anyway, I would have never gotten by with a Z32 with my father. But everybody turned their heads for those cars.
Oh,
back
absolutely.
In those days.
Still
You know what I
do.
mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on video camera and pictures all the time.
I forget what report it was, but it was like in the top 10 of the top 100 best looking cars of all time. And I go,
Yeah.
I think it's deserved, right?
Yeah, and it still is. And it is like, I come out of shopping, when I'm shopping or whatever, if I take it shopping, I come out, there's people taking pictures of it.
Yeah.
There's people around it. people constantly walk. I can't go get gas without.
When you look at Lamborghini, I mean, they liked it so much they said, "Hey, we'll take those headlights for the Diablo."
They did.
You know,
they sure did. They sure did. Yeah. So I think that I wouldn't recommend the car to somebody that really wasn't at a point where they can give it 150%.
Yeah.
Because you can't halfway do a Z32.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, if you find one for sale, you either find one that's going to cost you some money because somebody has put money into it.
Yeah. Or
you're going to have a project on your hands.
Yeah.
But there's no in between. You can't have a halfway running Z32.
Yeah.
I have a good friend that has one, and his is currently down, and we joke because we've never had both of our cars running at the same time. So we say that you need two. So when you have one down, you have another one to drive.
Oh, that's a good one.
But they're great cars.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're timeless.
Yeah, they are.
But my goodness, if you want a car that will give you every emotion possible in one day,
that's the one.
That's the one.
Walk us through the build, the body, the suspension, the engine. I know you've got it built for 800. It's running 400.
So the engine was built by Z-Shack, capable of producing 800 horsepower. It'll never see that.
Okay.
Again, when I got in, I didn't know I needed a motor. I wasn't planning on that. That was a surprise.
Okay.
So it was 10 minutes after it got to the mechanic that I got the call that I was running on 5 cylinders. So then it was, well, where do you get a motor built? Like, who does this? You know what I mean? So my friend in New York says, you need to call Z-Shack in Houston, Texas. How do you order an engine? What do you ask for? Luckily they were, and I tell you something, Rick at Z-Shack walked me through that. I have a car I can grow into, but I don't have to.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
When I got the right people on the phone and talking about suspension, the same thing, I can't give kudos enough to Power Tricks. They have a lot of options for the Z32, but when I talked to Charles out in California with Power Tricks, he and Rick at Z-Shack both walked me through, and I'm telling you, like, 45-minute phone conversation.
Oh, good. Yeah. Quality.
What do you do with the car? What are your plans with the car? What do you want? And even with suspension, that's a very personal thing. You know what I mean? Suspension is very personal. So, but both of those businesses, so Power Trick suspension, I have the Road and Track coilovers with Swift springs, and I have, my engine was built by Z-Shack, shipped over here, and again, if I wanted to go bigger, I could, but I don't know that I'll ever. I mean, I'm right at probably 450. Yeah. But my turbos are big for the car. So we have my max boost set at like 15 PSI, so I can't
it's
overboost.
Safe, reliable.
So my car was built more for reliability.
Yeah.
And longevity.
A street car.
Yeah. And I want it to be around till I die. So, hopefully my kids don't take it away from me and tell me I can't drive it anymore.
What was the hardest part about the build that you can remember?
Oh, God. Probably just understanding, because one thing I found out that for every one thing you do, there's 2 more things you got to do to support that one thing you just did.
That's true. Yeah.
And so I need to know the why behind the what.
Yeah.
So you tell me I need this, but why do I really need it, kind of thing, or what's going to, I learned so much. I mean, like, I drove around for 4 months with car parts in my car because I was constantly delivering something somewhere, drop this off for powder coating, drop this off for laser etching, you know what I mean? Like, it was, this part came, so, it was just, when you get into it, I thought I had everything.
Yeah.
Well, now I need a motor. Well, then you tear apart somebody else's, 30-something-year-old problem, and you find all the clown mistakes they've made along the way.
Yeah.
So there's this great guy in Tennessee. His name is Scott, and Scott has probably 25 parts cars. He keeps all of us alive.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, like, when you need that hard-to-find stuff, it was just tracking stuff down.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of options out there. I mean, we have Concept Z. We have Z1 right here in Carrollton.
That's right.
That's great because they're faster than Amazon for somebody who lives in Georgia. So, like, if I ordered something, a lot of times I had it next day,
That's awesome.
So that was really cool. But I think the waiting, the piecing it together as a girl, understanding, because I can listen all day long, but when you're telling me something about a car that's a mile long and then I've got to, like, try to repeat it to somebody, like, I've been made fun of for having a boomer board with my build on it. Do you know how many times people walk up to me and say, what have you done to it? How much time do you have?
Yeah.
So I would say the full build understanding all the parts, components,
how it all works together.
Yeah. The why behind the what. You know what I mean? If I have this, why do I need that?
Yeah.
So there's so many things that you can't do without. You know what I mean? If you do, so you just, and I wanted to be safe, and I wanted to do it right.
And you've got another Z, probably one that I would say, if I had to guess, you probably don't work on as much or have worked on as much. The Z34 Proto Spec, one of 240 ever made. Yeah, you've got one. I mean, how did that happen?
So that's a funny story. So I started going to car meets at this place called Tent World in Lawrenceville, owned by Jason Rogers. And Jason was also a member of the Z Club. This was, I met Jason actually at Miles Through Time Auto Museum.
Oh, cool.
The first time. I had my old Z there. Jason pulls in. It was the first new Z I had seen. So he pulls in this Proto, and we took a picture together of the two Zs together. We were the only two Zs there, of course. So I had the 1990, he had the 23 Proto. But I started going to his meets after that at Tent World. And I just said to Jason one day, I said, you know what, if you ever get rid of this car, make me your first phone call.
There you go.
But he didn't. He traded it in at a dealership, but then showed up at my house in a truck. And I said, Jason, what's going on here? He came to a birthday party at my house, and I said, something's not right. And he said, I had to sell the car. I needed a truck. So I found out where he sold it. It had been sitting there like 3 months, I guess. And I went to a Tent World meet, and he said, you know, Deanne, they still have my car at that dealership, and they've dropped the price. So I traded my Honda Civic, my daily, okay, the only car I own that had 4 seats in it.
It's dedication.
So I called the Hayes dealership by my house, who is where my son-in-law used to work. And he made some calls too, and we did a dealer transfer to get it from Lawrenceville up to my house. And I really didn't want to trade my Civic, but I was like, I can't, there's no other way I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've got to do something.
Yeah, you're pretty much like, if I have to have one, it's got to be this one, you know?
Yeah, but Jason had done everything to this car that I would have done to it.
Oh, nice.
So all the modifications were done.
Yeah, what's all done to it?
Oh my gosh, it's got, he's done suspension, he's done the wheels, interior, the interior lighting, exterior lighting, boosted 6 intakes, exhaust, AWE track exhaust.
Oh, nice.
Tent, ceramic coating, PPF. I mean, you name it, like
done.
It has everything done. So, I almost had. I was a little leery because I was like, how's Jason gonna feel when I show up in his car? You know what I mean? That he built.
Yeah. How did he take it?
Yeah, this car won Constructors' Cup last year at the Nissan Skyline Invitational. He put a lot of his heart into it too, but he had to make a decision that we've all had to make, you know, at one point or another.
Absolutely.
But one of the coolest things that Jason said to me after I got the car, he said, you know, Deanne, I wanted one of 2 things to happen to that car. I either wanted it to sell to somebody that lived out of state, so I never had to see it again, or I wanted you to have it.
Oh, that's great.
And so that meant the world to me, and I promised Jason that I would leave it just like he had it, and that I would continue to show it, and I still do.
That's awesome.
You know, so... yeah, it's a little piece of history. Probably wasn't the first thing I thought I would ever own, but when he did it right.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good.
And so I love it. But yeah, that's just a little story of how, and I was able to keep it in the Georgia Z Club.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'll have to take a look at it here in just a moment.
Absolutely.
So the Supra, the MR2 coming full circle, the Supra at Lanier Speedway. What was that experience like? What did it teach you?
Oh my gosh. Taught me that I can get out there and do anything I put my mind to, first of all. I think I taught the boys a few things because, you know, I think a lot of people underestimate women in the car community, whether it be their knowledge about their car, how to work on a car, how to detail a car, how to drive a car. You know, I've been driving since I was 15. So I got my license really young in Mississippi. They had, 15-year-old, so that was, plus I was forced to take driver's ed twice because I lived in 2 different states.
Wow.
But I think that, I had a lot of really good guys, and I got a shout out to some of them because, and I know I'm going to miss somebody here, but some faces that really ring a bell with me, like Tim Crawley. He's a face in the community that you can't forget if you ever see that smile. And I'll never forget my first night at Lanier Speedway. Tim got there late, so I thought I was good, okay? But I've had to pull up next to somebody I had been riding with. Somebody that had been doing this a lot longer than I had. And I won.
Oh, wow.
And I won again. So, I think I had to prove to myself that I could do whatever I put my mind to.
Now they're asking you for advice and tips, I'm sure.
Well, I think, and some of them, like, we even, a lot of people got to drive the Supra that had never driven a Supra, because, like, I was out of town at ZCon last year, and my son-in-law's Challenger broke down on the way to Caffeine and Octane for downforce battles. And he said, can I go back home and get the Supra? So he actually won second place in the time attack, whatever they were doing, whatever that series was.
Yeah.
But he needed a car to finish it, and so he finished in my Supra.
That's amazing.
So I think that, everybody was so helpful. It didn't matter if it was sharing tools, helping each other with tire pressures, whatever, like, it was just, there was something for everybody there. There was an experience for everybody, whether you were driving or you were riding, that was just like a place to just breathe. Yeah. And I spent my birthday there last year, last year I guess it was. My kids threw my birthday party there.
Oh, cool.
So I got to spend my 49th birthday. No, I was 48. I'm aging myself. So yeah, I spent my 48th birthday at the track racing the Supra. But the track closed for downforce battles with Caffeine and Octane in November last year. So I had just gotten the Proto Z. And there's a lot of talk about the Z versus the Supra. Mm-hmm. They're big competitors, and I really hadn't met a lot of people that had owned both to really be able to give an opinion, So by George, I took both of them out there that night. Oh,
cool.
And I just kept swapping cars, you know what I mean? So not only did I get to enjoy the Supra I was comfortable in, it gave me a safe place to learn the Proto, see what it was capable of, get a good feel for it. But I tell you, I had my best moments at that track. So Caffeine and Octane, you broke my heart with that one, because that was our place. We were such a family there, But I just had so many friends that were out there with me and helping me. But it was my son-in-law, Tim Crawley, Daniel Espinosa. That's another one that was, my first trip to the Dragon was with another Supra and a Scion FR. Was it FRS? I can't remember what he had. But anyway, we had mustard, ketchup, and mayonnaise. We were red, yellow, and white. Cool. We take off to the Dragon. I drove the Dragon for the first time in my Supra. I think it was 6 weeks after I bought it. And a mile in, I was like, what have I done? God help me.
Yeah, it's really tight up there.
There's no turning around, you know what I mean? But I think what the car community has taught me as a whole is you can do anything you want to do.
Absolutely.
You just got to make friends, talk to people, encourage people.
Yeah.
You got to be encouraging, and that's one thing that I stand for. I don't care what your build is, and I don't care what you're driving. If you have passion and you stick with it, you can do anything you want to do.
Well said.
Yeah.
Any plans for the MR2 stock build?
Oh my
track?
Gosh. It's so funny. This MR2 healed a broken heart. It really did.
Yeah.
I almost fainted when I saw that trailer show up the other day. And this little car was owned by an 86-year-old man. It was in the same family all of its life.
Wow.
And it's a 93, and it's got 74,800 miles on it. Can't tell anybody ever sat in the seats.
Yeah, that's
Can't
low miles for that car in that year.
You can't tell anybody ever touched
what
the
color?
button. It's red, just like my
nice.
my other one. Just like my other one. But I had all these plans, to what am I going to do to it? This is going to be a fun little project. But the past 3 days I've spent detailing. We've steam cleaned, purple powered, toothbrushed, toothpicked, Q-tipped, all the little dirt and dust and all these things. And I realized how special this car really is. So I thought, this is going to be my stock car.
Okay.
To do absolutely nothing with. But I will tell you this, it's got a tape player. I don't own any tapes. Doesn't have a CD player. I got a few of those, but I can't play those either. The cigarette lighter works. I did test it out just to see if it would get hot.
Yeah.
Stunk so bad.
Oh,
it smelled like burning hair. It was terrible. So when I leave here today, my fiance was in AutoZone yesterday, and he said, they have those Bluetooth tapes. I said, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He said, well, I saw it at AutoZone today, and I said, you didn't buy it?
You just put it in, it's got the little cord that hangs out, you plug it up.
I don't know how it does, but I'm going to find out. You give me just a few hours. Once I leave here, I'm going to AutoZone, and I'm going to own one of those today.
I had one of those. I can't remember which car it was in.
I had one years ago, but it wasn't Bluetooth. It did have a cord. You had to plug it in.
Oh, and this one's like fully Bluetooth.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Wow,
so
that changes the game.
If you want to follow up with me next time I see you, I'll tell you all about it, because that's the only thing that I will say is that I have to have my tunes.
Yeah.
Both of my, like the Proto has a very nice stereo system. My Z has a very nice system in it. So I've got the tunes, and I think that was like, I got to keep this car special because the story's special, because, you know, the chance for me to even find something like this. And the funny story, my friend in New York that helped build my Z found this car.
Oh, that's cool. Makes it even better.
Yeah, but I told him, I said, stop shopping. Do not start making a list of what I need for the MR2 because you're a Z guy. Let's leave it alone, because he'll have an Excel spreadsheet of parts I need before I can even enjoy it for a month. But no, this is one of my heart cars. So we're just gonna leave it as is, and I might enter it into a show in a stock class, you know, because now I can say I don't have the modified car. I have a stock car.
There you go.
You know, because my Z doesn't really fit in sometimes, you know, because it's so heavily modified that a true Z enthusiast might look at me funny if I come rolling in. So every car has a place, though. You just got to find your place.
That's it.
So I got something for everything. So
that's great.
Yeah, it just depends on what my
mood
is
variety.
that day. Yeah.
All right, so Deanne, we're gonna do a little rapid fire close. I'm just gonna ask you a short question and give me a short answer here, okay? 300ZX or Z34 forever? Which one? I guess it's supposed to be Z32 or Z34.
Z32, 100%.
Okay, good answer. Best Japanese performance car ever built?
Oh my goodness. I would probably have to say the 300ZX or the Supra.
Okay.
I mean, an MK4 Supra. I mean,
Solid choice. Yeah. Track day or cruise? Pick one for the rest of the year.
A cruise.
Okay, nice. If the 300ZX ever sees 800 horsepower, first road or track you take it to?
Barber Motor Speedway in Alabama.
All right. Dream build, unlimited budget, any Japanese car?
Probably one of the few that I've never owned, and I wouldn't pay that amount of money, but if I could, the MK4 Supra.
Okay, excellent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, solid choice there.
Yeah.
And then what do you want people to take away from your story?
Oh gosh. Well, if it's a man listening, don't ever kick a girl just because she's trying to get started or trying to find her place, you know. Take her under your wing, you know, and help her. If it's a lady listening that is thinking about getting into the community, maybe just needs some friends. You know, it's hard to make friends as an adult. It really is. There's not a lot of choices, you know, for us.
Yeah.
Especially if you're over 30. But get out there. Just get out there and meet people.
Yeah.
And I want people to remember me as a person that you could always approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether you want to talk about your car or you want to talk about my car, let's talk. You know what I mean? If you want to go for a ride, let's go for a ride.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a show, it's not about the trophies. It's about the people there.
That's it.
Sharing passion with everybody. And do I have a lot of trophies? Yeah, I got a lot of trophies. But is that why I show up? Never.
Yeah.
It's always the people. And I got people of all kinds. I mean, from my 80-year-old car dad that I run with all the time, you know, to the young kids that I probably and hope that I inspire.
Yeah.
So I would say just, you know, show up, get out there and find your people because they're out there. You just sometimes you gotta do some legwork and you gotta look. The group you start with might not be the group that you stay with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or the one that you run with the most. But just find your people. And you don't have to just hang out with one group. I mean, I hang out with all kinds of people.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
So I got friends of all kinds, and I was always like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Same.
whether it was cars or just, you know, in general, I always had all kinds of friends. But just, you know, I want everybody to just be kind. You know, the world's crazy right now. And the last thing we need to do is, like, come to a place like Caffeine and Octane and be ugly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
We got enough ugly in the world.
Yeah.
We got enough hate in the world. Just be kind. Just be kind and, you know, you can do anything. You just got to get out there and do it.
What a great message. Deanne, thanks so much for coming on the pod.
You're welcome.
All righty. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Well, it was another great show today at Caffeine and Octane. Grant here, and what a beautiful day it is. The cars are rolling in. The energy is incredible. And as always, the show is completely free thanks to our amazing sponsors. And hey, you may have noticed this great hoodie that I've got on today. Be sure to check it out at caffeineandoctane.com. That's where all the merchandise is. Again, a very special thanks to everyone who has stopped by to pick up their Caffeine and Octane merchandise. We truly appreciate the support. If you haven't grabbed yours yet, head over to caffeineandoctane.com and check out the official CNO merch. Every purchase helps keep this community going. We'll see you at the next one.